When I'm planning a story, I like to take inspiration from real life, from real places, real objects. This is the house that the Vermeulen Sickerts lived in, number 605, the Herengracht. Today it's called the Villette Holthuizen Museum, and we're about to meet its curator, Bert Freken. And Bert's been a terrific help the whole way through the research.
Was it 2.5 years ago, I think, that you were here for the first time? We had an interesting discussion on your plans, and I gave you a tour.
You did.
Through the house. 2 tours, I think. One was not enough.
And lots of emails of me saying, do you have an object like this, and what's its story, and how much would this cost?
Yeah, I remember that I knew a lot, but I also, many things that I knew nothing of. When Richard came, he wanted to know everything, so he asked much more than an average visitor does. Many questions were, of course, about the things you saw in the house, but then when you sat down and talked on an object or on Koppel Villette Holthuizen, he wanted to know more about the time, the 19th century, and more questions like if those people went outside, what did they do? So we talked more and more about their way of life, actually, in those days. And not only on the objects in the house anymore.
What's interesting is that Bert did his PhD on the people who really lived in this house. And I ended up writing a book in which I made up people who lived in this house.
Yeah.
So we have some curious connection that way.
Yeah. They were 19th century people, so they must have fun also. But they were made, later in the 20th century, they made sort of creepy people, not having children, fond of lots of pets, animals, dogs and cats. He drinking a lot. She, not 100% a woman, so sort of a hermaphrodite. No proof of that, but they were made very strange people. And with my thesis, I wrote on the Villette couple and their collection and their museum, the history of the museum in the course of the 20th century. I can explain how it came, because people in the 20th century hated the 19th century, didn't have any respect for the Villettes as 19th century people. So now that has changed. The 19th century is as interesting as the 17th or 18th century. It's all about context, putting the right questions, and that makes an object or people who are not living anymore interesting for people nowadays.